Just a few years ago, experts believed that the brain was like a mysterious sealed black box, and whatever brain power nature gave you at birth would never change. In 2000, Sandra Blakesley, science writer for the New York Times, wrote, "For decades, it was axiomatic that people were born with all the brain cells they would ever have. Unlike other body parts, where cells divide throughout life to give rise to new cells, it was believed that the brain did not renew itself." This belief actually was challenged as early as 1965, when scientists reported the discovery that new nerve cells were generated in the hippocampus of the brains of adult rats. And then a year later, they discovered that these cells were migrating to a different part of the brain. New stem cells were being formed in the ventricles, and from there they migrated to the brain's interior, giving rise to many other cell types, including neurons and the glial cells that nourish neurons. Scientists discovered that the new cells seen in the rat brains generated more quickly when faced with challenges such as intense training, injury, or infection. But even though this process was seen in the brains of rats, many scientists found it very difficult to accept the premise that the human brain makes new cells and continues to adapt its neuronal network. And even when they did accept the idea, they argued that there was no proof that these cells are important. These new discoveries were just too radical. During the 1990s, mandated by Congress as the decade of the brain, a number of revolutionary discoveries were made, showing that the brain does give birth to new stem cells, continuing to adapt and build throughout life, and that the brain generates a greater number of cells when stimulated. This was a truly thrilling development. To quote Ron Kutulak, author of the Pulitzer Prize-winning book Inside the Brain, Revolutionary Discoveries of How the Mind Works, "The brain gets better and better through exercise, but rusts with disuse. It is the ultimate use it or lose it machine." Now we know that the brain can keep adapting and building throughout life. This ability to reorganize and create new pathways is called neuroplasticity, and it's the science behind the Captain's Log MindPower Builder.